And where are you from?
Gardner, my name's Gardner. I'm from Scotland, Perth in Scotland originally, but live in Armagh at the moment in Northern Ireland. So
Yeah. And so are you part of the medical care rescue team?
I'm a part of the medical tent here. It's run by a Polish organisation, but then we spend time over in Ukraine as well in different places. Like last week we were up at Chernihiv for a few days, and next week I'm planning to go to Kyiv. So
Wow. So you came back from Ukraine and you will be heading back again. So tell us what you saw in Ukraine, the people you were able to help.
well, I mean, physically the place is in turmoil. The roads are broken. The rail links are broken. There's so much damage to the infrastructure, and the people themselves are. There's so much PTSD now over there, and the trauma. I mean, their problems are going to last forever mentally, and the physical. Yeah, the physical trauma that we witnessed and helped with the explosions and gunshots. And
So you have a dangerous mission to provide medical care in those war zones where bombings and missiles were happening.
I don't see it as that. I just see it as going to help the people. Yeah, the air sirens wake you up every night, pretty much all night, and then the next day you're back at work. But what you're doing, you're helping the people that need helped. So whether it's a war zone, it is a war zone, but I don't see it as a major issue to me personally.
So are you a volunteer or staff member of this MEDIC organization?
I'm a volunteer. I've been here 6 weeks. I've got another 4 weeks to go, and because I told my partner I would only be 10 weeks, so I have to hold her to that and go back.
So what do you do back in Scotland? Are you a physician?
I'm not. I'm trained as a combat medic when I was with the British Army. That's why I'm better off over there with the trauma than over here with headaches and stuff. So at the moment I work with kids with behavioural issues in Northern Ireland. That's my job at the moment.
So you were a veteran. You were with a British Army?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was with the Royal Artillery for 16 years.
Wow. Like a combat soldier?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I trained as a medic.
Okay, I see. Wow. So you know that it sometimes it takes fight to get freedom. Freedom is never free. And so you know the Chinese people, we are fighting for freedom. Have you been to our tent?
I haven't been to your tent yet. I've walked past it 100 times and always looked, and I totally respect and the tops you wear and the message it says is very straightforward. I just hope that one day the world can get rid of communism, to be honest with you. I mean, China would be a big step, but if we can get rid of communism around the rest of the world, maybe starting with Russia right now, then that'd be good.
Yeah. Yes, you know, the Chinese Communist Party is Putin's friend. They're supporting the war. They're providing military and financial aid for this war. So the Chinese Communist Party is the root problem of the global disaster. The global communism has a lot to do with the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the Chinese involvement and their threat to Eastern Asia and the rest of the world at the moment. Between China and Russia together are quite a formidable force that we need to somehow work out how to fix it.
And then you talk about taking down the communism globally. You know, the wall is only one part of the manifestation of the communism. Communism also manifests in the ideology, in the destruction of the democracy and freedom in the Western societies. So even in the West, people are not free from the influence of the communism.
No, we're not at all. I mean, I live in the United Kingdom, which is apparently a democratic country. It's a democratic country in a way that you do vote your leader. They don't have to obey any promises that they made to get voted in. And for the next 4 or 5 years, they dictate. Just the same as Mr. Putin does. They dictate to the nation what's going to happen and how it's going to be. They just do it in a little bit of a nicer way than China do and the Russians and North Korea.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also see that the censorship of in the Western society, they start censoring people for their different voice, and also the big government of vaccination, they force people to take vaccination to have the so-called vaccine passport. It is all different forms of the communism.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, in the UK, we weren't forced at all to take the vaccine. However, if you didn't take the vaccine, you didn't get in pubs, you didn't get in restaurants, your kids couldn't go to school, you couldn't get in the hospitals, you couldn't travel. So to have a life after COVID, you had to get the vaccine. So I've got 3 jabs simply because I wanted to have a life. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate because, I mean, you don't have to take the, vaccination, but because of the government overarching and threatening your liberty of enjoying life, you were forced to take the vaccination. So this is very much similar to the dictatorship in the communist China.
Yes, I totally agree. Just in China and Russia and North Korea, the politicians would at least have the courage to say, you must have your vaccine. In the UK and the Western Europe, they said we didn't have to have the vaccine. However, you can't have a life if you don't. So it's exactly the same, just in different words, different phrases.
So communism is not harming the Chinese people living in communist China, but it's also harming people like you who are born and living in the Western democratic society.
Under the guise of communism, I believe that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So all the people have to get united together to take down the communism globally.
Yeah, and just give everyone the right to be who we are and who we want to be, and have the leaders we want as our leaders, and be able to get rid of them. I mean, our society, we have a leader for 4 years without any choice. Nothing you can do if you don't like them, or they change, or they don't obey what they said they would do.
And also about the censorship. I know in Europe and in North America, if you are publicly, saying that forced vaccination is bad, you will be censored immediately in social media, and the mainstream media will also start attacking doctors and physicians who advocate for the patient's right to reject vaccinations. So as someone who is involved in the medical care, patient right is very important, the consent. This is another form of communism and dictatorship.
I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree with everything you just said there. It's the Western world just seems to say it differently than the so-called communist states. But I totally agree that we live in a pretty dictatorship world on the West as well. Just we don't go to jail for a lot of things that you guys do, unfortunately. Well, fortunately.
Yeah, you don't go to jail under the police custody, but if you refuse the government overarching of the vaccination, you are imprisoned in your own home without liberty. That's another form of imprisonment.
Yeah, we don't have that. When it comes to things like social media, a little me, I can post anti-vaccine or pro-vaccine or whatever I want to do on social media. However, I know for a fact that if doctors or physicians and MPs and other teachers, if they try and do it, then they get censored straight away and end up in trouble. I could generally get away with it just because I'm an unknown person. So, but in America, they can't do it.
And I think when you get a lot of following, you have millions of people following you, and then they're gonna start censoring you.
That's different. If I came out with something big and it did become global, then obviously that would become an issue for my own private life.
Yeah.